Okay, we're live. My guest today is Eva. Eva is a full-time RV sales woman and occasional business manager, sales manager, marketer, internet manager in the retail RV business. Eva has spent her whole adult life in sales jobs, including 15 years as a weight loss coach and supplement saleswoman. Eva responded to my last podcast with a suggestion that, hey, you should do an episode about women in sales. So here we are. Welcome, Eva, and thank you for being my guest.
Well, thank you for having me. This is my first podcast, so, if I mess it up a little.
Well, it's my third, so I'm like very experienced.
We're like super new at this. That's awesome.
I'm winging it. Okay, first question. Is sales a man's job?
Sales is an everyone job, in my opinion. I believe that whether you're a parent or car salesman or working at the grocery store, doesn't matter. You're a salesperson. There's an interaction of some sort taking place.
Yeah, if you're if you have to convince somebody or change their mind or talk them into something, you're selling, right?
Exactly.
Everybody's selling something
all the time. ABC.
Yeah, always be closing. So, I asked you that because I've worked on a lot of different sales floors in the car business. Where I work now, it's about 50-50 about, men and women in real estate. But in every other sales job, well, car dealerships, there's very, very few women on the sales floor. And I got a few maybe theories, but I'd like to hear yours. But, are there any advantages or disadvantages that come along with being, the woman on the primarily male sales floor? If that's the case where you work, I don't know that it is.
So I think that in sales, I believe the benefit of being a woman is that we have a little bit more compassion. That is the question you were asking, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more compassion. I think since most of us, not all of us, are mothers, and we've had to deal, obviously, with sales in the kids area. I just believe that, a little bit more compassion. I also believe that I've had it happen to myself before, for sure, that people just want a woman salesperson because they don't feel as pressured, potentially, in my arena anyway. Maybe not so much in yours, but
I found that too, working in new and used car showrooms where there was a certain client. Sorry, I thought I'd put this on Do Not Disturb.
We don't live on Do Not Disturb. We're in sales. We're always being disturbed.
Exactly. there was always a I'm just going to leave that in. Not even going to cut that out. That's
don't even cut it
out. There were certain customers that would come in and specifically ask, do you have a female salesperson? I would prefer. They'd feel safer. They feel more comfortable, right? You mentioned being a mother. You're a mother of two daughters.
Maybe it's one of your daughters is trying to get a hold of you right now.
Hang on. Oh, God.
At least you got a nice ringtone.
I don't have time. This can't be that important. Okay. Do not disturb. That means don't phone me. All right. You mentioned being a mother. So, you're a parent of two daughters. I have two daughters as well. Our kids are friends. All mothers, and I guess all parents, but mothers especially, are kind of salespeople, right? You got to convince that toddler to eat their dinner or go to bed or whatever, right? So, that sales floor that's mostly men, there's a certain customer that comes in, they feel maybe a little bit safer with a woman, and maybe that's an advantage for women in the sales industry to just maybe have a little bit of a more space, more comfort with certain people. Do you find that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's always a customer that wants to deal with the guy, right? And that's totally fine. But there's definitely, when people come in with dogs, with kids, I don't know. I just feel like it feels like more like a natural progression more than a, hi, how's it going? Like, I'm here to sell your trailer.
Yeah. And
or car.
You're not intimidating, right? Or you don't come across as
I try
as
not to be intimidating.
Yeah. Well, maybe you are to some people. Before you got into RVs, you told me you were a weight loss coach and supplement salesperson.
Yes.
For 15 years. Now that's probably on the other end of the spectrum where there's probably very few men doing that. Would that be
very
accurate?
few men? Yes.
Yeah. So
because
I
a
want
lot of
to,
people feel more comfortable with women, right? So
right. And were most of your clients women as well?
yeah, I would say the majority. Now this was like many, many moons ago. That ages me right there. But I think more and more men are starting to, you know, come forward and be more comfortable with getting that kind of help.
Does it, maybe it takes some vulnerability, right? To say like, hey, I want to get in better shape.
Yeah.
Right.
Or threat from a doctor.
Or that, yeah. Hey, get in shape or you're going to die.
Or die.
That's
Yeah.
persuasive. That's sales.
For some.
So I'm curious what that job was like, what the clients were like. Do you have any crazy stories from that? What the expectations from your clients are and how you measure success in that business, other than, obviously.
I don't think there is any. The clientele is awesome. Like in any sales job, there's always going to be the lunatics, and there's going to be the majority of your customers are going to be nice, awesome. There's still people I talk to this day, and we're still friends. I would say that the expectation obviously is to help people and to help them gain success, right? At the end of the day, that's how you get success is by giving compassion and by giving real advice and real support. So, I don't have any super lunatic stories or crazy stories. I remember this one lady like lost her crap on me saying that like it was all my fault that she wasn't losing weight or whatever. And her husband came in after like, oh yeah, sorry, she was off her meds. Like, so I think that's probably the craziest thing that I've ever seen or had to deal with.
I feel like if you give someone a plan, like a nutrition and weight loss plan, and if it's not working, you can always say, well, yeah, you didn't follow the plan. It's kind of self-evident, right?
Yeah, it is not that is not the society we live in. People like to blame, people like to say that it's your fault and not their own, right?
Fix me.
Yeah. If it's not
Yeah,
working, it must be your fault.
I'm gonna pay you money to fix me.
Yeah.
You got to do the work, not me.
Exactly.
So, did you learn any skills or get experience in that helps you do what you do now?
All my skills. My boss there, Sue, if you're listening, which she's probably not, but I may post it on social.
Just in case.
She taught me everything I know. She is an incredible salesperson. I've always told her that she should write a book about closing. I would say that she's like the female version of Grant Cardone. Like she's fantastic, very good at what she does. And she taught me everything that I know today. It's and I honed it. Now that I'm older, you can hone those skills, right, and bring them in a little bit. But she was amazing at what she did.
What was like Sue's like closing skills that were like an eye opener to you? Like, help me understand what you're selling. So you're selling a package, probably, right? Or is it like a long-term contract? Like you're going to pay me
it's
X dollars a month or whatever?
Yeah, it's a contract. And then, we have, I suppose, shelves full of wonderful products that, would help. And so, it's the upsell of maybe some products here and there, and it's, and selling the program, right? It's, no different than working in the gym, I suppose. You want to sell a membership. You want them to come as long as possible, right? To get the best results. You want them to take all the right vitamins and minerals and all the right supplements. And, that is what you're selling. And so, closing skills, the art of shutting up after asking for the sale. Ye old, don't say nothing. The first person that talks loses, right? So
that's a classic. That was one of the first things I learned selling cars. Like, ask for the sale and then shut up. Whoever speaks first loses. So yeah, you're still using that for sure.
Oh, all day long. So things like that. Things like not taking your first no as a real no. Sometimes a no isn't a no. Sometimes a no is just a statement. So things like that.
Keep asking until they buy or die or tell you to fuck off, right?
Exactly. if you haven't been told to fuck off, you're not doing your job.
Yeah, you're not even trying. And I always tell new salespeople like half of your job is getting people to like you, right? Like if you can figure that part out, the rest will come, right? What were like typical objections you get? Like, so did you use like testimonials? Like here's some other clients of mine that, here's all the success that they had. Was that some of the sort of persuasion that you might use? Or
there's only one one thing you're going to get that's going to stop you from doing a sale, and it's always money. It's always
Yeah.
money. Doesn't matter what you do. It's too much money, not enough money. I don't have money, whatever. It's trying to convince someone to spend their money for their own good, right? Some people are ready, some people are not. Some people came in with the mindset, and that's no different than what we do. They come in with the mindset, this is what I'm doing. It doesn't matter how much it costs, I'm doing it. And then you got the people who just don't like to spend money on themselves. And again, I think that's a mom thing, especially when you have young kids, you don't feel guilty spending money on yourself. So
Mm-hmm.
it's getting over that money hump, really.
So how did you handle that objection? Like, hey, like, you can't afford not to do this. Think about your health.
Yeah. Why? Why is my favorite? Why?
Yeah.
Why? And then it's overcoming every single objection they give you. So if it's why, well, I wasn't expecting to spend this much. Okay, well, how much are you expecting to spend? How much can you spend?
And that is it like an ongoing relationship that you have with that client? Like, you're doing check-ins with them and stuff?
Yeah,
like that?
every day. Some customers would come every day. Some customers would come, on and off. Some people only can come once a week. Some people came for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years. So it's lots of different kinds of customers in that setting. It's a little different than our customers, which would be return customers or referrals, right? It's you're creating a relationship with these people and helping them become better versions of themselves.
Yeah. So that comes back too to like, closing. Like you can't hammer someone, and you can't be really confrontational, because you've got to keep nurturing this relationship for the next maybe 9 years, right?
Yeah. Maybe 10 years, who knows?
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like I said, the other day I went out for brunch and I saw one of my customers from Herbal Magic, and I was like, oh my God, it's been forever. And like we hugged it out in the middle of brunch. Everybody was like, what's going on? So
Amazing.
It's really cool. Like, you do create some relationships that way.
So somewhere along the line, somebody convinced you to come sell RVs. How did that conversation get started?
That was a complete and utter accident. So the company I was working for while I was on maternity leave went bankrupt. And I legitimately got a call. I was like, hey, what's up? You don't have a job to come back to. And I was like, oh, cool.
No.
You're freaking out. You're on maternity leave. You got to go back to work. So I literally started just chucking out resumes left, right, and center. I was like, oh, shit, I got to work somewhere. And I hadn't made a resume in 15 years. So, And I ended up getting a call from Fraser Way RV, actually. And I started there as a receptionist, believe it or not.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And so how long did you work at the reception desk before someone talked you into trying to
about a
get in
year
sales?
Before I was like, yeah, no, this isn't for me at all. It's
Were you bored?
Money, bored, and frankly, just not enough money. Like, they don't.
Right.
Receptionists. I'm sorry if anybody hears this and gets offended. Receptionists are grossly underpaid people. They do
I would agree with that after seeing how much work they do for how much money they make.
Right. And I was going to just leave, and then I guess they convinced me to come into sales, and I was like, yeah, I guess. What's my rubber arm? I'll go back to commission sales.
Now, having worked in enough showrooms of male salespeople with a female receptionist, for you to turn around and go, you know what, I'm gonna join all you assholes. and I'm gonna be on your team now. That must have been quite the sales job to convince you to do that. Or maybe it looked like fun to you. I don't know.
No, I wasn't super, like, I didn't feel intimidated or anything like that. I mean, yeah, I was a little intimidated with selling these RVs, and I was like, I don't know nothing about them. Like, I only knew a little bit, but everybody was pretty nice about it. Like, nobody was like, well, you need to just go home and cook dinner and make sandwiches and do laundry. But, so it was pretty good. I had a good team there.
And how long ago was that?
Well, I've been here at Arcan for 4 years, so almost 4 years, about 4 years ago.
Yeah, so I guess you survived the first 6 months, so you're good until you get sick of it, right? Okay, so when I worked in the car business, we used to joke that RV dealerships are where old car salesmen go to die. Forgive the stereotype. That's obviously doesn't apply here. But then I started to realize, like, maybe they know something that the car guys don't, because I think they make a lot more money. But then again, they have a seasonal business too, right? Is it like, I've heard that, like, you make most of your money in 6 months and kind of take the
Yep,
winter off.
pretty well. It's nobody's truly thinking about buying an RV in the middle of winter time, but there's always customers. There's always people that want to go snowboarding in the winter, that want to go, live in a truck camper because whatever, they hate life. I don't know. in today's economic climate, we'll say there's a lot of people that are buying RVs to live in. So it's
Interesting.
it's been I'm always busy enough anyways. I'm not
Yeah.
I don't think I want to take the winters off.
Right. We used to joke too. Like I had this old guy that worked on a used car lot that I managed, and he referred to certain RV dealerships as a wet store. Are you familiar with that term?
Nope.
Well, that's the ones where they drank at work.
Oh.
I'm guessing that's probably a relic from the past that you don't see a lot
Yep,
of
that is a long time ago. I do not think that Anvik would be cool with that.
Yeah, a wet store.
I don't. In my time of being here, I don't really see it. No, I've not come across that people are just drinking themselves to death here or anything like that, or anywhere I've worked. So
yeah, that's from the old days.
I think so.
And that would have been true of some used car dealerships too.
And I'm pretty sure the car dealership, like you open up somebody's bottom drawer and it's just,
Yeah, it's crumpled up Post-it notes. So what's a typical day like on an RV lot? Because I feel like this is something that, it's not like a car where, people come and get a new one every few years, or maybe it is. Do you have like return customers that come back to you, or they want to upgrade to something bigger? Or?
Oh yeah, we have lots of different customers. You got the I come back every year because I need the newest and the best, and we have.
God bless them.
God bless those customers. And you got people that their circumstances have changed. Maybe their kids have grown up and they need instead of bunk beds they need a couples coach. We got people who are now, I don't know, gonna go cross North America in a van, and then trailer doesn't work anymore, and it's very, very different. So we have lots of first timers. We have lots of returning customers from the pandemic that bought a trailer out of real necessity. They couldn't go on vacation anywhere, and they ended up loving it, and they want to continue to live that kind of lifestyle. So it's a really cool thing to sell, that connection. I think from what I've heard from Tony and from other people who worked in the car industry, it's I must have a car, or I want to have the nicest car. I feel like I'm not selling a thing. I feel like I'm selling a lifestyle, which is super different.
I wanted to ask about that because you're selling like what's your life going to be like when you have this? And I had to do a bit of a sales job to convince my wife we should get an RV. It took me 20 years. But I don't know if you've seen one sitting in my driveway now.
Good fight for me, Taylor. What the hell?
I would have. You didn't have this one. But sorry, I should have called you first.
I'm kidding.
But that was the biggest point of it. Like, think of what we can do in the summer. We can take the kids on road trips, and we can go to music festivals, and we can go down in the States and stuff. Now most people probably buy one and use it once or twice, and then and then park it and get sick of paying for storage and then get rid of it. Do you get a lot of that too? Obviously, if you've driven anywhere close to Métis Trail and Stampede City Storage and Crossfield Storage, I mean, they're prop full of trailers. I mean, if you live in Calgary and you're generally not parking your RV in the backyard, like you have a very nice lot, you can park it right there, right? Yeah.
But if you had anything bigger than you have now, you'd be going in a lot. So we get a majority of people are fairly educated, so they'll come and be like, okay, I got a 25 feet driveway, I need a trailer that is whatever, or a motorhome or whatever that's in that length, because I'm not paying for storage. And then you got the people who buy a trailer, camp for a week, and throw it in storage for the other rest of the year. And then sell it at a huge loss to someone like me. Exactly. It's we have a lot of different clientele, and that's the fun part of my job, is that I don't just have the person who needs to have this. They're like, no, man, we want to go camping. Like I said, we want to go to festivals. We want to travel the world. We want to, maybe not the world, but the continent, our world. So it's cool. So you have done a bunch of different roles, worn a bunch of different hats in the dealership. So for anyone, not just RV dealerships, but anyone from the dealership, cars, trucks, whatever world, like you've been
inside sales, you've been internet sales, you've been a sales manager, you've been a business manager. What's like, what's the cherry job in the RV dealership? Which is the
The
one
cherry
that,
job is different for everybody because it depends on what your goals are. If you, for me right now, this is my cherry job because I love, I love this job. I love internet sales. I love the freedom that comes with it. I love planning my own day. That's my favorite part. No one is dictating what I'm doing in my day, except when I have an appointment, obviously, but I'm booking that appointment myself. I love being in control of that. I'm going to book you in to come see me when it's good for me because that allows me to plan my day accordingly. So it's this is the funnest job that I've ever done, and it's doesn't even feel like a job sometimes. There's times when it does, but it doesn't feel like a job. I feel like I've kind of hit the lottery with that balance of being happy, making a decent amount of money, staying busy because there's nothing worse than sitting around twiddling your thumbs all day. So
waiting for the up, waiting for the next
waiting
up.
for the up, whatever, right?
Yeah.
They've given me a fantastic opportunity here, and I truly think this is the best job that I've ever had.
So when people ask me like when I got into real estate, my favorite part about it, it's what you're just saying now is like being in charge of my own schedule. Like being in charge of your own schedule, I think it just overrules everything else. I think once people have experienced that, everything else comes after that. Like, I've sat up in showrooms, waiting till closing till 9, and then someone comes in at 5 to 9 and you're stuck there till 10 and then having to lock up. So like I've been the sales manager too. And it's like, the hours and the waiting and the bullshit having to deal with the owners and upper management. The one job I didn't do in the front of a dealership was business office. And I always thought like for the people that are wired a certain way, I think that's the cherry job in the dealership, but I know I couldn't do it, right? Because, I'm waiting for that buyer to be turned over for me. And then I've got to walk them through this pitch that I have to time and give it like very precise way and ask for things in a certain order in a certain way every time over and over again. And some people are just master that and they're so good at it. But for me, it's like, I can't, I need a freewheel. I can't like stick to a script. If you listen to the episode with Graham where he's talking about comedy, like, you get sick of telling the same jokes and you get sick of your own shit over and over again. But I know you spent some time in the box as we call it. Right. And, I know it's a different game with RVs than cars because you guys are financing on like 25-year amortization.
We're more mortgage brokers than we are finance managers, but it is. If that's what you're looking for, then yes. I also believe that it takes a special kind of person to be in the business office. Our business manager is probably the best I've ever worked with. She is amazing, and I've learned a lot from her as well. And I continue to learn a lot from her. So we work well together and we help each other out a lot. So, I think what makes my position so fantastic is that I know both ends, right? I know my two managers and I know what their job entitles. And so that makes my job a little easier because I know exactly what to give them, what to show them. I know what they're going through in that office. So if I forget to put a land address on the bill of sale or whatever, I know it's just going to piss off Michelle. And if I forget to put a battery in or whatever, that's going to piss off Brock. And it's like, it helps to have done both jobs. And I think it makes you a million times better at being a salesperson if you have done both those jobs.
I have huge respect for people that went into management and then go back on the floor, right? Because they just want to do the selling part and not the management meetings and the bullshit and locking up at night part.
Let's be real. If I had my own dealership, that's a whole different gig. Because then I'm the boss. It's my rules. It's my dealership. It's my vision. It's my mission. It's very different when you are literally just living someone else's vision, right? You may agree with it and you may go with the flow of their mission and vision, but at the end of the day, your time and effort goes into someone else's dream, not yours. And I
Yeah.
feel like with my position, I am 100% behind the company where I work now. I'm 100% behind their mission and vision. That's why I work here. But I can create my own mission vision too, right? And have that aligned with theirs.
So with your internet stuff, I follow you on Instagram and Facebook and stuff. You've kind of created your own brand. So that I like what you're saying there. It's like, yeah, you're working at someone else's franchise, but you're kind of your own little independent business within a business, doing your own thing and generating your own business, right? How important do you think is branding, and how many other people that like working in sales can have the opportunity to create that own brand for themselves? Like some people are really good at it and some people kind of miss the mark, right?
Yeah. I believe branding is incredibly important. You guys won't know, but the guy who I replaced here, Neil, he's on social as Neil's my trailer guy, whatever, and he is the same, very amazing, lots of videos. People just know him as that, right? Like they just know him as Neil's my trailer guy, and I think that makes such a big difference is to have that brand for yourself. That like, yeah, Eva RV, we know she works at Arcan, we know she's selling Arcan's product, but we're buying from Eva RV.
Yeah, it's you first, and that gives you now, earmuffs for your boss if they listen to this, but that gives you some mobility too. Like
Yep.
if you move to another town or you decide to work for another place, it's like you don't have to start over. You've already established something for yourself, and that's good that you can work for a place that gives you the freedom to create.
They're really freaking amazing here, and they encourage. I know where the lines are. They know where the lines are, and we just they encourage me to do my thing and to really, they let me cross post on the Arcan websites and on the Facebook, and it's a big thing. And I know not every company is like that, so like
everything has to have their brand on it. That's the case sometimes, right?
And most of my stuff does have the Arcan brand in it. Like I'm either wearing an Arcan shirt or so that people know where I'm coming from.
Yeah. So okay, say there's an angel investor listening to this podcast right now, and he says, I like this evil woman, and I'm gonna put up $20 million for her to start her own dealership, and I'll be a silent partner. What are you gonna do different at I don't know, Eva's RV Mart?
Not Mart. Come on, Teal. Don't make it sound.
All right, it doesn't have to be a Mart. It can be a World or a Zone.
What would I do differently? I think it's something that a lot of really good CEOs try, and it is very difficult, and that is to drop the silos in a dealership. I'm in sales, I'm in service, my sales floor, my service department. It irks the hell out of me. And we've all done it. I've done it myself where it's like, oh, my sales floor. Why is my sales floor full of service stuff? Like, we've all done it, and I feel guilty after, but it is my biggest fucking pet peeve on this entire planet. I love dealership life. I think it could be a million times better, but it makes it so much worse when it's like, I'm in service, I'm in sales. This has to be charged to sales or charged to service or charged to parts. And it's like, you guys are fucking forgetting the most important thing, which is the customer, which we're all trying. That's what we're all aiming for, is to have a happy customer. And I believe silos just create problems. And I know my boss, I know my CEO, Sarah, I know she feels the same way, but it's just such a hard thing to get rid of. But
everyone's so busy. It's like, how do you, and I've had this thought process, 17 years working in car dealerships. I thought, like if there was a way, maybe some places doing this, but like make those salespeople spend a day in the service drive,
yes.
and make those service writers spend a day in the showroom.
Yes.
And make this would drive the technicians nuts, but like make some salespeople help, go spend an evening helping in the shop or in the lube pit or whatever. Right? I wonder if anyone's doing that.
I've done it. They let me sit in, but again, when you do it once and then you don't do it again for a month or whatever, 2 months or 3 months, you kind of get rusty at it, right? But yeah, it's definitely, I try very hard to know what it's like to live in a service world and what they're doing and how they're doing things. I like sitting with some of the other managers and being like, hey man, like, what are you working on? Right. And I try to, especially in the last couple of weeks, I've really tried attending the service meetings, in the morning, the pending meetings or whatever, and hearing what everybody else is working on for the day. And, you learn some things. And
You sound like you're on the path to general manager here. That's what
I don't want
I'm
that.
hearing. I'm hearing the beginning of a campaign. You don't want that job,
I don't want that. I don't want that
yeah,
headache.
yeah.
I want to go home at
I'll
5:30.
edit that part out. No, just kidding. But you know what? You're halfway there. I mean, you know what you said earlier about because you've worked in the box and you've worked in the desk or the tower or whatever you call it. You know, as someone on the sales team, you understand the demands of that job. You understand the expectations of that job. So you work well together. Just take that one more step and, you know, spend a little time in the service drive or you know, in the shop or at the parts counter or that sort of thing. It's too bad.
And I do help out at the parts counter as well often, sometimes. And so, you know, they make me a little script like, oh, this is how you do this. This is how you charge a sale. And this is, you know, so we can all, like, we have a very small sales floor here. It's only 2 other guys that work here. And one of them has done the job of, like me, he's done all the things, right? Like being a general manager, he's done it all. And so we all work really well together and we all really try to help each other out. You know, someone comes in and is busy in parts and, you know, somebody's looking for a certain part, we can all jump in and help. So
that's great. That's a good setup.
It is.
Any advice that you'd have for someone that wants to go buy an RV?
Wants to go buy an RV? Yeah, come see me. If you want to be treated right.
Well, that's an easy one.
You know, no, I don't have any advice to give people. Just what I always tell my customers, and they're like, "Well, what's the best time to buy an RV? What's the best place to buy an RV?" You buy an RV at a dealership where you feel comfortable with a salesperson that, you know, helped you build a relationship or whatever at a price that is good for you at that time. There isn't a magical time to buy an RV. There really isn't. You know, it's, you know, what are you looking for? When do you want it? What do you want? And find a place that you vibe with, really, at the end of the day. And everything is pleasurable and you can call them back, and a place where you have a good relationship with the service department, because let's be real, that's where everybody ends up.
Yeah, you're going to be back.
So, yeah.
You look like you might have someone demanding your time there.
All day long.
Oh, of course. You wouldn't be in sales if you weren't.
I also manage the trucks here. So, you know, I got the truck log out here and it's like got the keys, I got the license plate. So
and there's a lineup outside your door. Well, I know you're busy and I know you got a lot going on there. So I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and thanks again for coming on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I will hopefully be on one more time, maybe one day.
Yeah, we'll do it again. I got some good clips for social media. You got some good snippets there. So we'll
awesome. That's
watch
great.
for those later. Okay. Thanks again, Eva.
Yeah, have a good day. Bye, Taylor.